Hey everyone, it's Maria and welcome to my channel. It's been kind of a lot of growth in the last couple weeks, and so I just wanted to say welcome to my new viewers. It's really fun having you. Yes, please like and subscribe and share if that's something you're into. But more than anything, I just love having the conversation. So feel free, especially in the comments. They're my very favorite part of BookTube, is just interacting with all of you guys and hearing what you have to say. So that said, I want to talk to you about a book that I finished this week that I think is really important for the time that we live in, especially if you're living in America, but also just really meaningful to me. And it is In the Country We Love, My Family Divided by Diane Guerrero. Now, she plays in Orange is the New Black, which is, I think, a Netflix series. I did not actually watch Orange is the New Black. I did read the book that it is based off, and really, really loved it. So if you want a book recommendation for that, that's great. She wanted to write her story of being a U.S. citizen. She was born in the country, but she was born to Colombian undocumented immigrants. And when she was 14, her parents were deported. And she kind of talks about what she went through before and after that, how it affected her, how it affected her family and her parents. And just her story was told so well. It was, I guess, co-written with Michelle Burford. I can't say Buford. That's a hard word. Anyway, yes, this book for me hit all the bells. Not only did I not want to put it down, I desperately wanted to know what happened to her and if she came to terms with some of the things. She does go through therapy later on, so she kind of talks about things that she learned about herself through that. I think it would be great for anybody that has experienced abandonment issues, regardless of if they were related to immigration or not. But this is such an important conversation that we need to be having. And I think mainly because so many people don't have a personal tie into it. For me, I do actually. My sister was adopted from Guatemala when, I don't know, I think it was 8 or 9. And so it was before adoptees were automatically became citizens. And so the path to her citizenship took over a decade to just finally get her settled, because by the time she had by the time she'd gotten her decision from the immigration office that she was going to go in for her final interview, it was a week after her 18th birthday, and they said you have to refile under the adult stuff, and they had been in the system for several years at that point. So it was just really frustrating, just first seeing that whole hardship play out for somebody who, she'd been adopted into our family when she was a kid, and it took her a very long time. I remember going to her citizenship ceremony, and I had a 10-month-old at the time, and so I ended up having to take him out of the service in the hallway because he was getting a little antsy. And I remember talking with a Canadian, or a American man, but his Canadian wife was getting made into a citizen. And I said, how long did the process take for you? What was that like? And he's like, oh, we just applied earlier this year and it came through fine. And I just remember thinking the injustice of that. I was happy for him, but just the whole idea of my sister having to wait so long to get her citizenship when somebody from a more Anglo place got it right away. She also had married a Mexican man, and I'm not going to go into that whole story because it's their business. It's not mine to share. But it was really, we've struggled with his citizenship process a very long time as well. And I just think there are certain times where if it hadn't been for calls and letters to legislation to get things expedited or changed even, he might not be in the country, and my sister and my niece and nephew would be out of the country as well. They've tried to get family members to even come over for a visit, and every time they've had to put up money, collateral, to make sure that the people will go back to Mexico or to Guatemala. And it's just so frustrating because I know if I have the money, I can get on a plane to Mexico with no problem and come right back. But the fact that my niece and nephew's grandma can't come and visit them because her visa keeps getting denied for a visit is very frustrating to me. And so there's just a lot of things that if you are white and don't have anybody in that arena, you don't know about. You just think it's easy. You just, file a paper and then you wait a few months and then you get approved. That's not how it works. And this book does a very, very good job of explaining that's not how it works and what happens to the kids that fall in the cracks when their parents get deported. I got very emotional at several points because you just kind of see the injustice laid out. You see the people who are getting frustrated, and then, whether that leads to dangerous situations or even situations where they're being cheated by employers because employers don't have to follow rules. Nobody's going to call anybody on them if they're not paying wages. I know that there have been times where I know people who have had their wages not given to them because they know that they're not going to call anybody about it. And it's just, she talks a lot about that in this book. And so I think if you feel unable, unqualified to talk about that discussion, pick up this book. It's a great one. It is nonfiction. Some fiction ones that I think are really great for kind of talking about the immigrant experience is the Book of Unknown Americans by Christina Henriquez, and then also Behold the Dreamers by Mbulo. And I think those are both phenomenal books. I did not want to put it down. So they are page turners, but they are fiction accounts of the immigrant experience. I have a book on hold from the library called City of Dreams, 400 Years of the Immigrant New York Experience. And I'm really excited about picking that up when we got to go out to New York and kind of see Ellis Island and hear about what experience my great-grandpa had coming to the country. And then just imagining how different things are now, how some things are the same, how depending on where you're from, that's always been an American thing, that some places are more welcome than others. And I think until we recognize that in our history and in ourselves, we're not ever going to be able to solve that problem. So anyway, that is my very long plug for please read this book, In the Country We Love. You won't regret it. It's a good one. So I will talk to you all later. Please let me know in the comments if you've read this or if you've read any other great immigrant nonfiction or fiction accounts. I would really, really love those recommendations. I will talk to you all later. Bye.